Hi, my name is Tim. I'm Senior Application Specialist at ATR Soft. In today's webinar, we will focus the energy on a more conceptual discussion. With me today, I have my local and loyal wingman, Francois Simon, who will answer your questions. Use the chat box in the GoToWebinar panel. I will make room after the session for more questions to let you follow this presentation better. We expect the webinar to be somewhere in the range of 15 minutes. Webinar is being recorded as always and will be made available online later. Okay, let's get started. So these bullet points are very generic and fluffy, but they serve to get your mindset dialed in. So these bullet points, or as you can read, make sure to use metadata correct, ensure that data is where it's supposed to be at, print and convert files to company standards, export data to whatever system you use with the same format, understanding and required information attached, and improve the overall quality by using the same set of rules for everyone for the metadata. In my opinion, which is shared with others, the design that you create in CAD is about 20% form, shape and size, and then 80% metadata, or at least it should be. The past years, we have seen a landslide towards PLM or similar shared data silos, where products exist only as metadata. The CAD file is designed to create the physical product, but it is the metadata that is the most valuable asset after the design phase. And this data will actually be further extended throughout the systems that it's going to travel through. So getting the metadata correct and as elaborate as possible from initial design is very useful. In order of understanding the concept of metadata, you need to understand the meaning of your design throughout the entire business. The sales team is going to sell a product, and maybe in colors you did not even know exist. The CAD team will create multiple milestones to deliver logical structures. The manufacturing team will create many individual parts and often in a somewhat random order. The ERP team will think of item numbers in a different structured way. You make a bracket, ERP will have that bracket in different color codes. And the service team will consider structures as replaceable items, essentially spare parts, which could be logical from a service structure approach. So if you look at the screen, it's a box, but asking different departments in your company, you would probably get different replies. And this is the concept of metadata. What is the perception of a file? You want to bring consistency to the design by asking all stakeholders in your company what they need in terms of information. The CAD model, as I said, is used for manufacturing, assembly manuals, fine element analysis, and things along that line. When the CAD model is produced, the only thing that is being used in many cases will be the soul or the metadata of the CAD file. So make sure to have the metadata correct as soon as possible, or you will have ghosts with no soul wandering around in your data silos. Avoiding this bad data is quite simple. You build a set of rules approved by everyone, and then you apply these rules by utilizing tools made for managing the metadata. For instance, Property Tab Builder, it's free and it comes with great limitations. PDM is quite costly, it's customizable, and it's much better than Property Tab Builder. Or you can use custom tools because it's easy. It comes with almost unlimited freedom to define exactly your requirements. And it is inexpensive. I want to show a few simple but I feel convincing features that I think is a must use for any business. So let's find SolidWorks. Let's start by creating a new part file. And I will show you how you can set up your metadata. And again, you need to ask all in the company what is required. So let's just do a config part. It's not a modeling contest, so I'm just going to show the metadata. In custom tools, we have the properties, as you know, and you can ask anyone in your company what information are required. You can ask the ERP, what do you need? Because what you think might be useful might not be useful at all for other places in the company. To drive this, we have some pretty good tools. For instance, we have the project. In project, you can set up a default location where the file is going to be stored. And we can assign metadata upfront. So anything that is common for a project, that can be added without further hassle. So imagine that I want to work on the custom tools project. Then I am going to pre-populate the drawing number. I'm going to set some values in my properties that are fixed for this project. And this could be contact person, the delivery address, and anything you basically need. So already you have a good starting point. I'm not going to work on a project, I'm going to work on the general instead. And then I'm going to pull in the information as I go. So for the drawing number, I would like to attach a file number. And as you can see, we highlight this text, and it means that we are not able to save the file unless we have a value in it. Then we can define different drop-downs to serve our purposes. We could say it's fabricated. When it's fabricated, then we have a new group expanding, becoming visible, and then we can populate the metadata that is required for the fabrication part of this one. If it's not fabricated, then it might be purchased, and then we don't need to have fabrication metadata attached to the file. So you can really set up a custom tools profile where you have all the information that you need. Let's go for the fabricated. Kilogram, I think is fine. For the cutting, this is going to be machining. And again, you can build these drop downs any way that you like. You can add as much information as you need. And on top of that, we can have key values. So when you select machining in this window, we can actually say that it's going to be a key value attached to that. Maybe machining is not a good example. If it was a customer that I selected, then I could have the customer name and then the address, contact person, invoice number, email, everything attached to that. So we can have up to 15 additional properties signed to the document when we select one in the window. The item I'm going to skip for now. I will return to that in a few minutes. Description, I can type in a text, or I could do whatever I want. In this case, I'm going to skip this one because you need to see what is going to happen when I say OK without filling out this information. For description choice, again, we have some logic driving this. So if it's free text, nothing happens. If I select I want to use dimension, then dimension group becomes visible. And we can drive our design so it matches what we are looking at. For material type, in this case, that would be flat bar, the width, length, and thickness. And we have these dimensions linked to our document. We can also set material. So let's go for plain carbon steel and give it a nice RAL color. Pastel orange. As I said, your sales team will sell products in colors you didn't even know exist. Then we have in this profile hardness and finish. For hardness, it really doesn't matter for this one. Maybe we want to have deburring as finish on this item. So now I did skip this one on purpose. When I hit OK, I will get an error that you cannot save this file because you're missing to fill out the description 1. Okay, let's go back to description 1 and type in a value. So from here, I can search a dictionary. In this case, it could be just a random list that we are going to search and use data from. By using this approach, you are eliminating typing mistakes. Everything you put into your properties will be uniform. It will be the same from everyone. And now I can finally hit save, and we can save the file. But this pretty much comes from the CAD perspective. Now, everything I put in is CAD data. If I want to pull information from other systems and put into the CAD file up front, I can definitely do that as well. I can go into my properties again. I could have done this initially, but I wanted to save the file first. So now I'm going to visit this item group box. For the item, I could either automatically or manually pull in a new sequence that matches that of our ERP system, for instance. I can add a description, and in this case, we're going to search directly into an external database. Again, our ERP or PLM or whatever data source we are trying to pull data from. If I just run the search, I will do a list lookup and I will find all of my materials that I have available in ERP. I can filter this list by typing in, and then I just select one of these. It really doesn't matter. And then I can link that property. When that has been done, if the data source is going to change, then my file property is going to change along with it eventually when I open up or update the files. So this is a very good way of driving your properties on your files. We also do different list lookups. For instance, by using, in this case, 3 lists, but I could also use a full structure list where you expand by pressing a plus sign and eventually selecting an item. Either way would be the same. So here I can select that this is a control system, and based on that selection, the next choices becomes available. So if I selected anything other than control system, then maybe these wouldn't be the same. So let's try that. Mechanics. And then we have some other options available. So these are dependent pick lists that we can use. I'm going for the control system. I'm going for a CPU, and then for the final step, that could be OMRUN, whatever. And again, practically, this could mean that now I select OMRUN, and by selecting that, because that is something I can read, I probably need to have the OMRUN order number. Maybe I need to have a stock availability. Maybe I need to have a location in-house where that is going to be placed, and so on. All of this data I can pull in and add as metadata to my file. And yeah, basically that's it. So hitting OK. And now my file is pretty much complete in terms of the metadata that I want to put into it. And as you can see, we put in quite a bit of metadata. If I go and have a look at my assembly file here, and just to keep it a bit short, I'm going to open up the small subassembly. The data that you put into your file is valuable. You can use it proactively throughout your entire organization. So if I create a report, for instance, on Excel, or if I export directly to my PLM, ERP, whatever silo, then I can use this data and I can enrich it during the export as well, so I can pull in additional data and put that to whatever system I need. For instance, if I need to run a purchasing order, so I want to create a report that we need to create this item, and maybe it contains some purchased item, maybe these are not in stock. So we can have a stock status, so we can go to our purchasing and say, we need to buy more of these. Or it could be anything else. So basically it's up to you to figure out how you can utilize all of this data, right? I'm just going to run the export of this item. And it is going to create a list of all the configurations, by the way, that we have for this particular subassembly. And we can then export that with the information that we need and require for our design process. And everything is in here, basically. So I have what I need. And you can also see if we are missing information. So I think pretty quickly I will get this one back because I have no material defined. There is no one who is going to be responsible for it. No designer exists, so maybe I need to populate some data on this one as well. And by the way, there is in SolidWorks, I'm not even sure where it is anymore, but you have a design checker, so you can actually check properties are per company standard. So check that out as well. Okay, so I know that was quite, conceptual, but that is actually all I had to show for you today. Our next webinar will be about gaining that extra time for your designs to be exceptional. It's another conceptual webinar like today, but we really want to show you the different tools that we have to make your everyday work more productive. This is, for instance, by using automatic routines and deliver downstream data much more effective. This is going to be on the 19th of September, so after the summer holidays, same time as today. We are open for questions when the recording is stopped, but first I want to thank you all for attending this webinar, and I hope to see all of you for the next one. Have a nice summer, and thank you. Have a nice day.
We are in the life-saving business. We kill your routines before they kill you.